Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please, go to isupk.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
They're one west. They're one west. They're one west. They're...
Welcome to Atlanta. Christ, this Officer 5000, Jeremiah, the camp leader of Atlanta. Passover 2025, starting April the 9th, we got the lamb slaughter. April the 10th, we got General Muhammad's flag. April the 11th, we got the black party that's going to have the Hebrew graduation. April the 12th, in Atlanta, Georgia, the 56th annual Passover, the only Passover under Commander Junior Hunter.
Our great and holy King has honored us for turning our lives from the darkness to the light, man. There's no greater gift you can receive than to wake up to the truth and then commit your life to saving your brothers, man. Looking in their eyes and seeing their faces and seeing what they've suffered and what they've gone through and seeing the end of it, man. It is a guaranteed seat in the kingdom of heaven, man. So in the name of our King Yahushua, we dedicate us another Passover of brothers and sisters' lives being saved.
April the 13th, we got the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Shalom.
We won't let it change us, even when they switch sides and they wanna change up. Fucking with my brother, then your life in danger. Got no fear like I got one in the chamber. Since day one, we been about it, nigga. I've been going hard since the day that I found it. It's 144 to the day the Lord counted. I'ma keep my head up to the day that he crowned it now. Since day one, we been about it, nigga. I've been going hard since the day that I found it. It's 144 to the day the Lord counted. I'ma keep my head up to the day that he crowned it. They want a fame, they want a clout. That's why they doubt. I got them black, I want a class. And I shut my mouth. This was way before polite, before I came to campsites. I came broken and contrite. I just wanted to live right, clean my soul and give my life. Had to give up all my vice. I got a fog out my head. I was raised from the dead. I put down that weed and I cut off my dreads. For before I could lead, I had to learn to be led. Now I'm a bad motherfucker. Walk around and I straight flex on suckers. No one specific, I'm talking to all of you busters. Straight from the gutter, me and my brother, we the long supper. Now, running it like a conductor. Hebrew Academy, I'm the instructor. 14 written all on my cover. Men of war like we hopped at a Hummer. Look like you wanted my trooper could cut you. There is one camp, there is not another. One West, UBK. One West, UBK. One West, one West, one West, UBK. One what? UBK. One what? UBK. One what? One what? One what? UBK. Me and all of my Oyes, hold it, shit down, right here, all day. Shalom, wagwan, sa, passe, is we, damn niggas, yatu, sabe, ay. We gon' change the world.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. You in live with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, Priest and Captain of 10,000 NATAZACH NASHAH under Commander General Yohana, who the Lord put in charge of this nation of all blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, all right. Shalom, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Barakatham. The brother, Yahweh Shemar Alathan by Hashem Yahushua to the sisters. All right, all right. Most High in Christ. There we go. Instagram, we up and running. We good everywhere. All right, all right. We got any questions in the rooms? Any questions? Questions? All right, all right. Most High in Christ, Most High in Christ. We in there. All right. So we're gonna go to Matthew. We're gonna talk about Christ and what Christ was teaching is our way back to obeying the Most High, which is the most important key for us to know what exactly it is to know the Most High, what exactly it is to serve the Most High, and who the Lord is. That's what's going to bring us through in these last days. Of course, America is on its last leg. It's in absolute life support. As you can see, President Trump is frantic, doing everything that he can because he knows this empire has but a short time. He's in damage control mode. You understand? Trying to save the empire because he know the time is running out. All right, so we're going to start at Matthew chapter 5 and verse 17. Matthew 5 and verse 17, we're going to get Christ's words. What Christ said here, think not that I come to destroy the law. Very important scripture. It can be overlooked many times. Like these are the foundational principles as to what it is to be in the truth. How do you understand the culture and the heritage of being an Israelite? There's lots of talks in circles with blacks and Latinos talking about doesn't matter where you come from, who's your forefathers. You understand? Talk about what is the identity of black people. You understand? My black American, a foundational black American, a Moorish American, a Muslim, a Christian, a Democrat, a Republican, you understand, a color, the Afro, African American, a Negro, you understand, the Negra, all kind of identities that have been created for our people ever since we have been taken from ours. You understand? Hey, shalom, brother. Shalom, shalom, brother. All right. All kinds of things. So we want to get back to what is our actual culture? What is our actual identity as a people? Our identity is contained in these commandments that the Lord gave us. They literally unlock the DNA. Everybody, that's another popular thing everybody talking about. Your DNA, the DNA test, and where your ancestors, and where did the ancestors come from, and what your DNA saying to you. All of these things is extremely popular. The Asians are not concerned about their DNA tests. They're not doing that. The Africans, the Nigerians, and East Indians and Ethiopians, they're not taking DNA tests to find out who their forefathers and their people are. You understand? Only a lost people is trying to look for another race of people to gather DNA and tell them who they are. That's a whole scam America has running along, which they've already proven the damn test doesn't work. And they've also proven that identical twins and identical triplets, which Captain Tazaryak shared numerous times over the years, that they all took the DNA genetics test and they got different sets of genetics, different sets of DNA, even though they have the exact same mother and father, which is ridiculous, which goes to show you once again, the oppressor is the devil or the deceiver that the Bible speaks of. So we're learning about what Christ gave us. His words get overlooked so much because everyone believes that they speak for and that Christ speaks to them. I want to help everybody out. Christ does not speak to you. The Lord does not speak to you. The Lord does not know you at all. You don't have a personal relationship with the Most High. You don't have a personal relationship with Jesus. You are not that important. I'm not that important. No, most of the people on the planet is not that important. You and I know the Lord because the Lord deals with Commandant General Yohana. And the Lord tells Commandant General Yohana what to teach us. And you learn what the Lord wants you to know by obeying the men that Commandant General Yohana set up to teach you in the Isupk. That's always how it has been. And this is why Christ has to specify these things in the scriptures and why these milk scriptures are so very important. They're called milk scriptures because they nourish your spirit, they nourish your mind, they nourish your bones. That's what milk is supposed to do. This gets you strong and all built up properly, you understand, in the truth, in your knowledge of your identity and who and what you are. You understand, as an Israelite. So Christ said, think not that I'm come to destroy the law. Don't think that I come to do away with the Lord's law, statutes, and commandments. Why is this important? Because without the Lord's law, statutes, and commandments, you cannot know who God is. You can't get an understanding or learn about the Most High without having his identity. The identity that he created for us is a part of his rules that he gave to us. That's why it's so important. Christ said, think not that I'm come to destroy the law or the prophets. He had to say the law or the prophets because Moses gave the law. The law came through Moses. Many people call it the law of Moses, but they say that because that's who the Lord used to give us the law, to have them physically written down. Or the prophets. Who are the prophets? The rest of the prophets. Isaiah, Ezekiel, Hosea, Nehemiah, you know, the prophets that the Old Testament, Samuel, is written about. Why do those things matter in the New Testament? Especially since everyone who is open in the Bible, who has been telling or teaching you about God your entire life, they've been telling you that the Old Testament is done away with and it does not matter. But the lessons about who the Lord is and who is this God that Christ is teaching everyone to serve by following him, you cannot learn about him without knowing the actual history of his reputation, of his name, which is throughout the entire Old Testament. That's why Christ has to specify this. The religious leaders at the time would lie on Christ saying he's doing away with the law of Moses. You understand? I'm not come to destroy, but to fulfill. Meaning the reason he was here is to make sure that not only what the prophets said were established, but that everyone knew that these were men that God had sent, and that they had, of course, rejected the Lord. And they rejected the Lord when the men came, when the prophets were sent, and they rejected the Lord when the Most High sent Christ as well. They also rejected the Most High. All right. Now, when he's saying, I want to give you a precept so that you can get a better understanding as to why he even bothered to say this. Everything that the prophets were doing was leading up to Christ. Christ did not come to say that what they did was for nothing. Now I'm here. The Lord had to specify, Christ specified it as well. This scripture right here that I want to go to now, hold where you are, is Ezekiel chapter 33 and verse 33. All right. It says, and when this cometh to pass, meaning the words that the Lord sent the prophets to say, and when this cometh to pass, when the things that the Lord told them to say actually happen, lo, it will come, saying it's surely going to happen. Then shall they know that a prophet hath been among them. You understand? When the things come to pass that the prophet said, then you'll know that this was truly a prophet of the Lord. Because our people refused to listen to the prophets, even though everyone knew clearly. The only thing that confused our people as to who is or isn't a prophet of the Lord, who is not a man of the Most High, was once we started to join the other nations of people and their own beliefs about who their men of God were and their culture and their customs, which is why the Lord directly gave us instructions through the prophets. This is what Christ is reiterating. That's why it's saying whatever happens, you're going to know that a prophet of the Lord was sent to you, because it's going to happen. Now, we're going to move around a little bit, but that's what Christ said. I'm not coming to do away with the law. This is one of the most important things in the ways why we lost our heritage we want to go to now. It is another milk scripture, and it is a verse that everyone should know and be familiar with. All right. This is Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 3. In Deuteronomy, the seventh chapter, the Lord was establishing us as a nation. We got instructions on what to do before we went into our land. Just like we're getting instructions now, once again, before we are preparing to go back into our homeland. That's what we're learning here in the truth. That's what you're learning in these UPK classes. Once the Lord brings the Third World's War, the nuclear war, the civil war, all the subsequent wars that are leading up to the return of Christ, which is what you're seeing now. Donald Trump is in damage control, but make no mistake, they're firing hundreds of thousands of government workers. You understand? They're letting them go. They're removing sections of the government. All right. When Donald Trump ran and said that they stole the election for Biden to win, he said they're stealing our country. They're stealing the democracy. That's why January 6th happened, which, of course, we found out later on that the whole riot and everything that took place happened because Nancy Pelosi refused the National Guard that President Trump offered because he said stuff's going to get crazy. And as you see, Donald Trump is not a politician. He's a businessman. Now, we're not on the side of Donald Trump. We're not for the Democrats or the Republicans. We're for Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans serving the Most High under Christ. So I just want to clarify that. But these things that are being done, they're removing security clearance from people who have been running sections of the government for many decades. They're removing jobs to wipe them out. They're removing people's entire livelihood, their insurances. They're completely restructuring how the United States of America functions. They're uncovering all the money laundering and fraud that's being done. If you listen to some of these documents, that they're angry at Elon Musk exposing with his Doge partnership all of the money that's being stolen and funneled and swindled and lied about, saying that, senior citizens in America, 110, 120, 140, 150 years old, getting Social Security checks in the tens of millions every year when no such a aged people exist in America at any point in time to 110, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, but they're getting paid. The money is being stolen and sent to God knows who to do God knows what, which is probably why they already tried to assassinate the president twice before he got back into office. These things are biblical prophecies. They're biblical prophecies leading up to the collapse, leading up to the fallout of the war, leading up to all kind of madness that, of course, we already know because Christ warned us in Matthew, the 24th chapter, and Commander General Yohana has been teaching us this all throughout the book of Revelations since 1969. So we already know these things are happening. The important thing for us to do is to solidify our nation and solidify our heritage and identity, to make being an Israelite bigger and bigger, so that we turn back to our identities and stop with this Africa garbage, foundational Black American, all of these foolish, silly, childlike identities that Black people holding on to make up for the fact that we don't know our identity or our culture, and it is destroying us as a people. This is why Christ said it so importantly, don't think I came to do away with the law or the prophets. That law and those prophets contain our records and our identity. That is already who we are as a people, trying to live life as an Arab, as a white man, as an African, as an East Indian, and not fitting in their society or the societies we've tried to create for ourselves, apart from the identity that the Most High gave to us. All right, Shemagah Bar Shalom. Y'all Shem Shah Bragatham.
Shalom, y'all about Shem Thumb.
All right, bring you up here. All right, so we in hold Matthew chapter 5 and verse 17, and then we at Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 3. Water. All right.
Deuteronomy 7.
Sisters. Sisters in here. All right, sisters. All right, let's get Deuteronomy 7 and 3. This is why Christ said, I didn't do away with the law or the prophets. Let's get 7 and 3.
Come. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them.
Keep going.
Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son.
The thing that Eve and Serena Williams have done by marrying another nation of people is the opposite of the identity that God created for us. It is the opposite of who we are supposed to be, the conduct that we are supposed to have that pleases our Father which art in heaven. We're not supposed to live that way. That's against God. You understand? All the Mejor la Raza or Avanzar la Raza, you understand, marrying white people so you'll have lighter skinned children with straighter hair so you can pass for being white, that the Roman Catholic Church teaches our Latino brothers and sisters to do. Guess what? Trying to have lighter, whiter babies is not stopping Tom Holman and Immigration Customs Enforcement from racially profiling you as the slaves that they send the slave catcher force for Latinos, known as the Immigration Customs Enforcement, the same way they sent the runaway slave patrol catchers, which were the patty rollers or the law enforcement you know today as the police. They were created to hunt your steps. You understand? We were never supposed to try to get comfortable in the customs, in the society of another nation of people. The Lord said not to do that. The religions that came from us joining them made us think we were supposed to be comfortable being in their bed, being in their customs, being a part of their world and their society, that we did not have to build Christ's society. And that's what our people did, because you got security clearances, because you got a government job, because you pledge allegiance to the flag and you saluted and wore their uniform. You thought that meant you were a part of the empire. But God said this, keep going.
Come. Nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son.
You're not supposed to take the daughter of another race of woman unto your son. She's not supposed to be welcome and accepted into the family. That goes against who we are as a people. That destroys us. It destroys the fabric of our cohesiveness, of our unity. It destroys us because now you have invited another man's family to sit in the middle of our family table. You've invited someone else who has an interest in the best thing for another family besides your own. The same as if we are having a meeting of the sheep or a meeting of the hens, and we're all together, the chickens, the roosters, the hens, and we're having a family meeting. And then one of our beloved hen sisters goes and brings a wolf home, talking about it's 2025. We need to improve wolf and hen relations. Just because there are wolves that did bad things in the past, we're supposed to let that go now, and let's all be one happy family, like a Disney movie, like Winnie the Pooh or Madagascar or Open Season. That's foolish. That's childish. And when you bring children through that, someone is going to have to choose. Either you're going to take the side of the slaves or you're going to take the side of the oppressor or the slave master. But no man can serve two gods. You can't have the same God as your slave master, which is why we ended up in this mess instead of following Christ, who did not do away with the law and the prophets, which is the exact lie that Christian preachers teach us about Christ every single Sunday. That the entire world believes nothing but lies about Christ, which is why when you see the men, the priests of God in the Isupk out on the streets, The vast majority of the world is in shock and against what we're saying because they have never been exposed to God in the Bible. They don't know about Christ in the Bible. You understand? This is how you learn about the name of Jesus, the reputation of Christ, the name of God. You understand? Keep going.
Verse 4. 4. They will turn away thy son from following me.
He said 4, meaning this is the reason why. They're going to stop your son from following me. We got all of these additional customs and cultures. The culture of smoking weed, that's the East Indians' customs. The ganja plant, which is known as reefer, cannabis, gas, loud, kush, whatever you want to call it, the tree, whatever you want to call it, that culture of setting something on fire, digging it up out of the earth, putting it to your lips and smoking it, inhaling it, is known as putting the branch to the nose in the Bible. It's also known as a man digging up evil in Proverbs chapter 19 and verse 27, I believe, as well. These things are the customs of the other nations of people. They are ungodly people, and their custom has infested the black community, so much so that our people believe smoking weed is a Mexican thing, is a Jamaican, a Benjamite thing. It's a Trinidadian thing. It's a Colombian thing, an Asherite thing because of the drug cartels. Smoking weed is a black thing, a Judite thing. Getting high in the ghetto in the stairwells, hotboxing the cars, smoking in the laundry room, spitting all over the damn floor and the sidewalk, making stupid decisions, nodding out, skipping school, failing classes, getting a criminal record for truancy because you off getting high with your friends. You get high, have sex with some stranger, catch an STD, get somebody pregnant. Then you kill the damn baby because you never planned on thinking straight. These are customs of the other nations of people. Read that again from the top, Shemaga Bar, the same verse you in.
Sir. 4. They will turn away thy son from following me.
Joining the other nations of people has turned blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans away from following the God of our forefathers. It turned us. Marrying the other nations of people married us to thinking that we are supposed to vote for our leaders, when just about every black city has a black mayor. And all of those black cities, like Portsmouth, like Norfolk, like Richmond, like Newport News, and Baltimore, and DC, and Philly, and Memphis, and Atlanta, have black judges, have black district attorneys, black law enforcement, black police commissioners, and they are filled with crime and violence and suffering and poverty and struggle, and they're in horrible shape. The people live in bad living conditions, poor working conditions, poor safety conditions. Why is this happening? Because we married into a culture where we get to choose our leaders by who is popular versus who is the man that God appointed for us. Can you imagine how different life would be if you, as a little boy, as a little girl, thinking of all the wonderful experiences of your childhood and growing up, all the wonderful things that you experienced as a child? I'm sure everybody had a great, wonderful, beautiful childhood, right? Nobody had any uncles or cousins strung out on drugs. Nobody's big cousins or mom's boyfriends or the preacher molested anybody. Nobody got strung out on weed or pills or cigarette that they've been fighting to get off their whole life. Wasn't filled with alcoholic family members. Wasn't filled with any kind of abuse and gangs and drugs and dope and heroin and crack and weed and prison time and violence. I'm sure everybody had a great, wonderful life growing up. You understand? The reality is we didn't have such a life as a people. And the reason we didn't have such a life as a people is because we got married to a custom of choosing our own leaders versus following the leader that God appointed that would naturally flow to the top of power and authority. That's how it has always been. That's how it will always be. That has always been God's way You were never supposed to have the choice to pick someone other than who God had in charge. You understand? This came as a result of doing the opposite of what God said, which is exactly what Christ is specifying in Matthew, the 5th chapter. If we had obeyed the Most High the way that the Lord said and followed the leader that He appointed, like we followed, you understand? Just think of what world that our children would grow up in, that you would have grew up in had we followed Commanding General Yohana the way that the Lord appointed. All of these rules, all of these things we're about to learn and go over, life would have been drastically different, which is exactly what we're doing to make life drastically different for our next generation and the brothers and sisters coming into the truth now. You understand? Keep going, Shemaiah boy, please.
That they may serve other gods.
That we may serve other gods. This is something also that's important to know in the Bible. The scripture says the gods of the nations are idols. The Christian church has taught us that everybody has the same God. But God wanted us to know in the Bible that every other race of people has their own God, and it is not the real one that is the God of our forefathers. So the God of the Arabs and the God of our oppressor and the God of the East Indians and the God of the Africans is not the same God as the God of the Bible, and the God that they serve cannot be the God that we serve. We cannot join them. We can't join their religions. We cannot join their cultures. We cannot join their holidays. We cannot take their customs. We are forbidden to do that. Just think of all the brothers and sisters you knew and you know that are addicted to weed and cigarettes. At some point, it was just weed. And then eventually, most people who started out just smoking weed eventually needed a cigarette after smoking weed. And then eventually, after needing a cigarette after smoking weed, the weed wasn't able to get them high anymore. They needed stronger weed. And they graduated eventually to pills, to weed laced with pills, to fentanyl, to cocaine. I hear that cocaine is real popular in Norfolk. Having cocaine in Norfolk like we back in the damn 80s again. Recreational cocaine like weed is everywhere else. You understand? Which is the custom of another nation and people. We got married to this get high culture by a government program that they wanted to introduce psychedelics back during that hippie free love era. That's how we got married into it as a result of free love and integration and everybody rocking together in the park, doing LSD and psychedelics and smoking reefer and reefer madness. We got married into a custom of high that half of our race is shot onto the worship of the god Shiva. That's where the weed comes from. That's East Indian goddess. That's also where dreadlocks come from, which people also think is black culture because we've married another nation of people. That angers God. So when we need protection from the Lord to not end up incarcerated by a false police arrest for years, to not get killed at a traffic stop by animals looking to unalive us because God said our enemies were hunting us, to not harass our sons and daughters walking home from school so that police can instill terror in your children, you understand, and hoping your son is unprepared so that he'll have an opportunity to arrest and brutalize him so that he can make his bones in his unit, you understand, will be without the protection of the Lord because we've married a custom of another nation of people. And I could go on with this forever. For birthdays, think of how many birthdays you've celebrated, how many birthdays your kids have celebrated, that you've known children having birthday parties, your nieces and nephews and cousins, brothers and sisters. Celebrating birthdays is the Roman worship of making yourself a god for a day. The Lord is a jealous God. So you pick a day to make yourself a god and worship everybody that you know and so-called love as a god on their birthday. That makes God angry. That's why many birthday parties get shot up. You understand? We're not supposed to do that. Then you got the Christmas. Then you got Thanksgiving. A whole ton of things that come from another nation of people. You got our oppressors' idea of marriage, which is toxic and poisonous. That a ring and a piece of paper means more than who you choose to lay down and have sex with. Our custom has always been sex is marriage. This is why Christ said, I didn't do away with the law or the prophets. Christians don't believe that. Christians believe a ring and a piece of paper is the marriage, and that if you change your mind a little bit down the line, you can tear the damn paper up, give the ring back, go and get another piece of paper that says, I don't want to do it anymore. Think of how that has destabilized our entire society. The whole reason you ended up raising children by yourself is because some Christian decided that after having sex, they don't want to be together no more. Somebody decided that I don't want to do this, I want to go do something else. When in our society, we had rules that bound us together to make us permanently joined to each other, to solidify and bond our societies, bond our communities. You understand? That's how we became so great and so powerful as a people, because we had more families than everyone else. You understand? This is what the Lord had envisioned when he gave us his commandments. These rules unlock who we are as a people. And that automatically makes us above everybody else because God didn't make them special to fit these. That's why it says when Christ returns, he's going to rule the nations with a rod of iron. Just like you have to train a dog or train a wolf or train a bear. Otherwise, they're going to be in your trash, knocking stuff over, biting your kids. You got to train them. Well, that's how the other nations are, and that's how Christ is going to rule them. You understand? So go ahead and finish that scripture, Shemagabar.
Come. So will the anger of the Most High be kindled against you?
The Lord said his anger would burn against us. Without Christ saying he did not do away with the law and the prophets, every Christian thinks that God is happy. God is happy all the time. If you ask a Christian, God is always happy. He wants you singing songs, you skipping around, you jumping and frolicking. That's what God just wants you to sing. He happy. He just wants you to sing. They done whipped and stripped his son in his drawers and put thorns on his head. They fed him vinegar. They stabbed holes in his hands and his feet with nails. And God just sitting up there cheerful like Santa Claus, just smiling, showing his teeth, waiting for all the choir director and all the little boys to skip and prance and sing a song to him. And God is just so happy sitting in heaven. God is pissed off sitting in heaven, and so is Christ. But you wouldn't know that unless you understood that Christ did not do away with the law or the prophets. You understand? The Lord said his anger would burn against us. You understand? Keep going.
Come. And destroy these suddenly.
His anger would burn against us and destroy us. He would destroy us suddenly. This is what's happening all over our cities. We getting sudden destruction. But it's not supposed to be like that. And the more we turn back to keeping these commandments, the less and less it will be like this. That's why this is so important. All right. So we got a question here. Officer Carl Sapar said we can break down Judges 2 and 22 as pertaining to the topic. All right. Let's get Judges chapter 2 and verse 22. Get Judges 2 and 22. Let's take a look at that.
Come. This is the book of Judges, chapter 2, verse 22. That through them I may prove Israel.
All right, we made it. So we want to skip up Yeah, this is perfect. Yeah, the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel. Skip up to 20, please. Bob Deshaun, give me 20.
Con. This is the book of Judges, chapter 2, verse 20. And the anger of the Most High
Come on.
was hot against Israel.
The Lord is furious again. You understand? Why is the Lord angry? The Lord is angry again. Keep going.
And he said, because that this people have transgression, have Salakia, because that this people have transgressed my covenant which I commanded their fathers.
I gave their fathers this order, and they broke my rules, this agreement that I made with their fathers. Keep going.
And have not hearkened unto my voice.
The voice of the Lord is to keep his commandments. It is not whatever you think in your head at the time. That's why the Lord had these scriptures written down so that nobody had to guess what the voice of the Lord was. The Lord didn't tell you nothing. You learning what the Lord telling you right now. We reading right out the book. This is what the Lord saying. Was written right here. Keep going.
Come, verse 21. I also will not henceforth drive out any from before them of the nations which Joshua left when he died.
What was supposed to happen? The Lord said, because you do not obey me, these other nations of people will not be driven out anymore as a punishment. I need you to understand this. The Lord, not me, the Lord wants you to understand this. The only reason that you, as a so called Negro, which is what you are, a so called black person, a so called Latino, a so called Native American, a so called West Indian, a so called Haitian, a black American, whatever the hell they calling us now, the only reason that you have ever met an Arab, an Ishmaelite, an African, Hamites, Cushites, the Ethiopians, South Africans, the Canaanites, the Puttites. The only reason you've ever met the Samoans, the Usos, the only reason you've ever met the children of Japheth, you've ever met the Edomites, Amalek and Teman and Esau, you should have never even met these other races of people had we obeyed the Lord. You would never have seen them. You wouldn't know their music, which they got by stealing it from you. You wouldn't know their dances, most of which they got from stealing it from you. You wouldn't know their cuisine, most of it they got by stealing it from you, apart from eating dogs and rattlesnakes and rabbits and shrimp and lobster. You understand? You wouldn't know anything about them. You wouldn't know their gods. You wouldn't know Christmas. You wouldn't know Thanksgiving. You wouldn't know weed and dreadlocks and shape up and Ramadan. You wouldn't know the LGBT. You wouldn't know men in dresses. You wouldn't know women acting like a man. You wouldn't know abortion. You wouldn't know divorce. We wouldn't know any of these things as a custom. We would know nothing about it. Our lives would be the kingdom of heaven, obeying the Most High's commandments wherever we were. The only reason that you know these other nations of people is because our forefathers sinned against the Lord. We are not supposed to be around other nations of people. They are not comfortable around you. That's why Esau gets hurt when he sees too many blacks and Latinos happy. You see, you happy, it causes them pain that General Muhammad had to explain to us. You understand? The other nations are not happy at your success if they can't eat off of you. The Lord called them the beast of the field. That's what God said. It doesn't matter your personal experience. This is what God said in the Bible. And we must learn to start looking at things the way that the Lord said, so that we can change our minds to line up with his mind. You understand? Precept. Let this mind be in you that was also in Christ Yahushua. You understand? All right. So keep reading, Shemaiah Boy.
Verse 22. That through them I may prove Israel.
Through these other nations of people, the Lord is going to prove who out of Israel actually loves the Most High. This is the love of God, that we keep his commandments. 1 John 5:3. You're going to prove that you love the Lord when everyone who has the opportunity to smoke weed does. And they'll take the customs of the gods that smoke weed, and they'll go and get high, and you won't. That'll prove you. You understand? Prove means to test by a standard. The Lord gave us his standard. Everybody else is getting into LGBT life and having birthday parties, and you don't go to the birthday party. Even though it's the custom of the heathens that are around you, and the rest of your people have taken their customs, you don't go to the birthday party. You don't have Valentine's Day. You don't accept the Valentine's Day cards and hearts and chocolates for Valentine's Day, because it is the custom of the gods of the people that are around you, and you don't serve their gods. You don't worship America. You don't rise for the national anthem. You don't pledge allegiance to the flag, because we don't serve any other gods. You understand? That American flag is an idol. They worship that American flag. They sing to that American flag. They praise that American flag. They kill for that American flag. You understand? That's an idol. We don't worship idols. We don't worship the gods of another nation. You aren't allowed to do that. Not as a child, not as an adult. You understand? These things will prove you to see if you actually stand with the Lord. Everybody else is getting Christmas presents. Everybody else is getting high. Everybody else is getting into an alternative lifestyle. You see, DJ Academics. Academics is on the internet trying to have sex with some little boy. They getting into this LGBT stuff. They swinging for the fences. Everybody else does, you don't. Now you're being proven to the Lord that you will stand with him in a wicked place. So when it comes time for us to go home and inherit our kingdom, then Christ will prepare a righteous place for you. You understand? So keep reading the rest of 22. I see Yaga Dog got a question. Go ahead.
Okay. Whether they will keep the way of the Most High to walk therein.
See, if you're going to keep the way of the Most High to walk therein, if you're going to walk in the Lord's way, it's very simple. The Lord want to prove you. The Lord is a man of war. There's no use training up your son if he don't ever get in the game. You're doing all this boxing and fighting and warfare and battling. What you doing this for? He want to put his son in the fight. Nobody knows that his son is the heavyweight championship until he get in there and bust Goliath's head open and take his head with a sword. Now you know David was really the champion. Everybody thought Goliath was the champion. David was the champion. King David was the champion. But how do you know? Nobody knew. They know now. You see what I'm saying? Everybody knew Egypt was the superpower. How do you know that Egypt had the Lord's chosen people in bondage in Egypt? Because the Lord came through and crushed the Egyptians and put his people out of Egypt. Now everybody knows. You understand? The Lord is a man of war, meaning he's about conflict. You understand? Christ is coming to bring conflict. The truth is about bringing conflict. That's why you got to learn how to deal with conflict. That's what we teach in the UPK. That's why the guidance counselors and the police and the mayor trying to talk to the city, and they rapping in the park trying to stop violence, and all the OGs, and we got to put the guns down because we all alive and we black and brown. And see, it took my son We got to put down the guns. They trying to hip hop and cat in the hat and stuff. Young boys ain't hearing none of that. You understand? They don't. They using Islam and the Peace King Nation and the 5%ers and the church and the mayor and prison time and OG Percy and Charleston White and Scared Straight. Ain't nobody listening to none of that, man. They piling up, going to prison, catching bodies. Nobody learning a damn thing. You got to have the spirit of the Lord to fix this problem because it's a spiritual problem. And our people don't want to be proven by the Lord to get his solution to the problem. That's why it doesn't get fixed. So that's what it's talking about. It calls apart. That's all it's saying is very simple and straightforward. That was a good addition to what we're talking about tonight. Excellent. All right. Officer Yagadar say, can you get a breakdown for Ecclesiastes chapter 10, 18 through 19? All right.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead. Give it to me when you got it.
Comes the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 10, verse 18. By much slothfulness, the building decayeth.
By much slothfulness, if you slack on taking care of something, the building will fall apart. If you slack, slothfulness means you're very slow to get stuff done. The building will fall apart. If you don't take care of the wood in that house, the termites will come and take care of the wood for you. If you don't fumigate that house and make sure that you keep the pest out, guess what? The rats, the raccoons, the mice, and the roaches will get in there and start to work for you. If you don't take care of that yard, that grass will grow up inside of your house. Your house will get buried in weeds and tumbleweeds and all kind of rabbits and foxes and frogs and snakes will be all in your home if you don't take care of it. If you don't weatherproof that house and get those windows updated and clean those gutters and deal with that lawn and make sure that the foundation is structural and fix that door, take care of that roof, get them shingles fixed on that roof, get that porch taken care of, get them pests out that basement, take that trash out, keep that kitchen clean, snake that drain, make sure the plumbing is right, make sure the water pressure is right. Make sure your pipes don't burst in the winter when you cut the water on because you didn't run any boiling salt water down the drains when it dropped below freezing. You have to maintain what you want. Life is about warfare. You got to maintain it. And if you are slothful and you let too much time go by, those steps are going to sink in. You understand? You don't get that driveway together, that mud is going to seep into your house. That foundation is going to start to slide. That crack that you didn't take care of is now a bigger crack. That door handle that you were supposed to repair, well, now the damn thing fell off. You have to take care of stuff and maintain it if you're going to get it. Otherwise, eventually, the whole damn thing will fall apart. And the Black community is filled with unmaintained properties that someone wasn't taking care of the house. Mama was caring for it. She was paying for it. Daddy died. It's just mama and the kids. They ain't keeping it up. They're not mopping and cleaning. They ain't doing the yard work and the grass. Eventually, somebody moves. The city comes and condemns it. They take the damn house. The white man flattens the land, builds a new house on it, sells the property for tax money, pennies on the dollar. Your whole Black community is gone. This happens city after city after city because the house is not maintained due to slothfulness, laziness, irresponsibility. That's how it happens. Keep going.
Okay. And through idleness of the hands, the house droppeth through.
I didn't hear you. Okay. Much slothfulness, the building decayeth. Through idleness of the hands, the house droppeth through. If your hands are idle, if your hands are not doing something, if they're not working, the house will slip right through your hands. After the 80s, so like Black families were buying up homes all throughout the 60s. Black communities was going up. It was full of revolution. It was full of strong Black families with fists and afros and marching and niggas being strong as hell, preparing to fight, getting weapons from the Russians, getting blackety black, strong as hell, big families. We were tough, real strong. We ain't had no drugs, no dope, no coke, no heroin. Wasn't wearing no skinny jeans. Wasn't taking no mess. Ready to go for it. Well, everybody was strong. Families was buying houses. Brothers was coming back from the war with money from Vietnam, money from Korea. Baby boomers, what they call them. Everybody dropping babies, making families. They moved white people in created suburbs by the United States government, which was the place where they took all the resources out the city where white people used to live so that black people could move over to the white side of town and white people left the city with the resources. We had our own businesses in the cities, which eventually we lost because of Martin Luther King and integration. Well, so many families paid for and took care of those houses that they ended up paying off by the 90s or the 80s or something. The next generation of those kids, when they had those babies in the 60s, those babies in the 60s, by the time it got to the 80s, the vast majority of those babies, once they had kids in the 80s, damn near every single one of those houses from city to city have all been sold. The next generation that was born in integration, everything was sold. The family businesses, the mom and pop stores, the farmland, grandmama's house, the big houses. Nobody wanted to do the yard or the lawn or sweep it or clean it or do the carpet, maintain it, take care of it. They just let the whole thing go to hell. Everybody just went on about their way. Nobody paid the property taxes. The house just slipped right through your hands because you weren't trained on how to be a prince with power, how to wield power and have resources. You weren't trained how to do that. We taught ourselves this from generation to generation. Then we got an education from the oppressor. We wasn't getting black education anymore. We were getting an American education. Then we became dope addicts and drug dealers, and everything just fell apart. And those government jobs that everybody got that made them think we reached the top of Martin Luther King's mountaintop, President Trump just fired everybody from those jobs. All those jobs are gone now. They all going away. You understand? So that's what 18 is talking about. Now give me 19.
Okay. A feast is made for laughter.
A feast is made for laughter. You understand? You have a nice big feast so you can celebrate. You can be happy, sit and reflect. You got your fish here, your greens there. Sister Hadassah that salad. You understand? Sister Anand that came through with the greens and the roast beef. You understand? Sister Ryan that came through with the mac and cheese and the baked chicken. Tower Bob that made the chili with the cornbread. You understand? Sister DeBar that made meatloaf bread and all kind of cabbage and stuff. You understand? Sister Amanda come with the meatballs. We marry and sitting back, enjoying ourselves, having a good time. You understand? Keep going.
Okay. And
Uh-huh.
wine maketh merry.
Wine make you happy. You get that wine in your system. You understand? Get your buzz going. Start feeling a little happy, a little cheerful. You understand? With some happiness in your bloodstream. You understand? Wine make you a little happy. You understand? If you drinking wine, I think what they call if you a woman drinking wine, they call it a mimosa. You understand? They got a special type of wine for women for breakfast. You go to breakfast and get a goddamn mimosa. This is the breakfast wine. You understand? And make all the sisters happy. You understand? That's what wine does. All right. Keep going.
Okay. But money
But
answereth all things.
money gonna answer everything. You get all the happiness you want. Understand this here. And the strawberry crunch cake selection. Whoever came with that strawberry crunch cake, it's time to go. We discovering a whole pan of salmon that somebody did hid it in the kitchen somewhere that nobody knew about. Nobody, yeah, the damn Moscato. You understand? I didn't think that you understand the Moscato and the Zinfandel and what was the other one? The Chardonnay. You understand? I didn't know those things had alcohol in it. You used to drink them and go running. I didn't know it was alcohol in any of them. You understand? The Chardonnay, the mimosa, and all of that stuff in the pretty little bottles. You understand? You understand? So, yeah, but money answers a lot of questions. Where we gonna eat? How we gonna get another bottle of this wine? Money. That's how you gonna get another. A feast. The food is gone. We gonna eat tomorrow. We gonna eat tomorrow because of money. Where we gonna stay? We gonna stay here because of money. How we gonna get there? We gonna get there because of money. You understand? Money answers things. It says money answereth all things. This is a basic thing. And money, listen, this how they say it, money talks. Money is the answer. If it ain't about dollars, then it don't make sense. How many rappers just said that? T.I. said, if it ain't about the money, don't be waking me up, be wasting my time if it ain't about the money. You understand? James Brown, money, 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 money. You understand? That's in the Bible. You thought they just made it up, huh? It's in the Bible. The scriptures say the love of money is the root of all evil. Loving that money is the root of all evil. You understand? Loving the money is the root of all evil. They didn't say getting the money was the root of all evil. They didn't say having the money was the root of all evil. Loving the money is the root of all evil. The scriptures say, lose thy money for thy brother's sake. You can't lose money for your brother's sake if you ain't got no money. Somebody gonna have to lose money for you. You understand? That ain't what the Bible teach. Christianity done taught us to be enslaved. All right, Instagram, we're gonna switch over to the next channel, all right? Christianity has taught us to be in slavery. That's why we don't understand the importance of what the Lord is laying down. The culture that he gave us made us rich. You understand? Because the Lord gave us rules that Jacob followed, Jacob left Laban's house with 4 wives, camel and goats and cattle and sheep, full of wealth and riches to bring back to his land. Because we kept the Lord's commandments, he had a homeland to go back to. Suppose his father had sold the land to, the white man because he tired of dealing with this grass and I don't feel like doing it no more. Suppose he didn't plan for the next generation of his family and he just sold his inheritance like Esau did. Then there would be nothing left for Jacob. Jacob would have these wives and these kids and nowhere to live, which is what's happening to our people this day. That's why the Lord gave us rules. You understand? You can't buy nobody else's land. You can rent the land. In the 7th year, the owner, it goes back to that family. You can't take an inheritance from someone. With a heathen, they can take your inheritance away forever. With us, you can't get someone's inheritance. This man got nephews. Them nephews gonna have kids. He got grandsons. He got sons. You can't take his stuff indefinitely. God gave that to him. You don't get to keep that forever. Even if he owed you a debt, he got 7 years to pay it. 6 years, 364 days, whatever he ain't paid, you ain't gonna get. It's over. God said it's over. You understand? This is why our way was so much better than what we forfeited trying to be another nation of people. You understand? Paying for water. Water fall out the goddamn sky. We paying a water bill. Whole planet covered in water. We paying for water. You understand? All right, Shemaka Bar, that was 19. Money answer of all things. Yeah, money gonna answer. That's what it is. The money gonna answer. All right. Why we don't live in this big house over there? You ain't got the money. You understand? You can go on and try to move over there if you want to, and you ain't got the money. You won't be there very long. The scriptures say, don't be surety above thy ability. Meaning, don't take a gigantic loan you don't have the ability to pay back. That's not wise. Christianity tell you to just pray about it. The Bible don't say that. The Bible say if you can't afford it, don't jump out there like that. God is not magic. You're going to suffer. All right. That's the end of your question there. Somebody else had another question. What we got here? I think Krishah had a question. I thought Krishah had a question. Did he ask a question? Yeah, Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 4. Let me know if that answers your question, Yagadar. I think you were just asking about the money. All right, we're going to Krishah question. Krishah got 5 and 4. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 4. Hold up. We coming up on Instagram on the other channel. All right. All right, shalom, Instagram. Y'all by Shemal Shabrakatah. Y'all Shemal Athah Shemal Shai. We coming to the second half of the scripture breakdown class. Priest Captain NATAZACH Nashah and the Commander Junior Yohana, talking about these laws, statutes, and commandments contain the culture that the Lord gave to blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. And we got to put this culture back on. Most High in Christ. So we go into Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 4. Ephesians 5 and 4. You got it.
Khan, it's the book of Ephesians, chapter 5, verse 4. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking.
It says neither filthiness is being filthy, nor foolish talking. All right.
Nor jesting.
Foolish talking. What is foolish talking? What does the Bible say? Hold on 1 second. There's a comma there. We got to break that down. Filthiness, being filthy. All right. What does the Lord call being filthy? What does the Lord call being filthy? Let's see. Is being a comedian a sin since it says you shouldn't jest? No. All right. Filthiness. What does the Lord say is filthy? What does God say what is filthy? Let's see. Webster. All right, shalom. Cap. What does the Lord say being filthy is? All right. Let's see if we get some answers. Did we freeze? No, we not frozen. All right. So like it, sir. Joining another nation. That's filthy. There we go. Most High in Christ. All right, Yagadar. Joining another nation is filthy. You understand? That's filthy to the Lord. Interracial marriage is filthy to the Lord. Eating pork, crab, shrimp, and wine and lobster, not wine, but clams and oysters, tuna fish. We have to say this every few years. Tuna fish is unlawful. Catfish is unlawful. Mahi mahi. You like to go to restaurants and get that mahi mahi fish? Mahi mahi is unlawful. Tuna is unlawful. Swordfish is unlawful. You understand? Mackerel is unlawful. You got to buy the real salmon. Mackerel is unlawful. You got canned mackerel. Open it up, give it to the cat. Mackerel is unlawful. You understand? Sardines are lawful. Kipper is lawful. Salmon, of course, cod is lawful. Anchovies are lawful. You understand? I said sardines already. Cod is lawful. Perch, trout, bass is lawful. Perch is lawful. Rockfish, you understand? Swai, which is catfish. It's a Vietnamese catfish. It is unlawful. You understand? Those are some of the most popular fish you'll see at a store, at a restaurant, just in case you go anywhere. Those things are unlawful. All right? Swine is filthy. It's filthiness. You become filthy by doing these things. Having sex with another man's woman is filthy. It's a sin. It's an abomination to the Lord. Eating pork is filthy. Telling a woman she should abort her baby her actually aborting the baby. You being a woman leaving your man. That's a filthy thing to the Lord. It's filthiness. You understand? So we got filthiness described, nor foolish talking. What is a fool? It says foolish. What is a fool? According to the Bible, what is a fool? What is a fool? All right. Fool is pretty broad. Mm-hmm. A fool is pretty broad. Let's see. What is that? On the band. An Israelite who doesn't follow God's laws. The fool have said in his heart, there is no God. A foolish woman tears down her own home. Someone who disregards the Most High, who doesn't keep the Lord's laws, doesn't follow the Lord's laws. The foolish man have said in his heart, there is no God. That's what a foolish man says. A foolish talking as though there is no God. You understand? It's a foolish man. All right. So let's keep going. Nor jesting. All right. So what does it mean to jest? What is it jesting? Jesting. It says joking or mocking remark. A clever jest. Let's see if we get more in the right. I got you. No sweat with the who. Let's see if we get more in the Bible dictionary. Just a moment. Let's see if we get yes. All right. Y'all keep typing in. What's jest? See if anybody got an idea. What does it mean to jest? What's jest? Right. Mhm. Says making fun of someone till he said in a fight. To joke on a brother or sister. Let's get some. Let's take a look. Let's see what it's saying here. All right. Foolish talking. Let's get the Bible dictionary now. Joking until you touch a nerve. Jesse. Jesher, J-E-S-T, J-E-S-S-C, J-C-G, Jethro. Don't look like we got anything for Justin is on the van, so we'll go with what we got in Webster. It says a joking or mocking remark. You got that, and then let's get some more. To make jokes, intended to make jokes or jest, intended to be humorous. We know that's not the case because there's plenty of things in the Bible that are intended to be humorous. To make a laughing stock, frivolous or mood manner. We got a prank. Let's pull up the basically disrespect a brother or sister who jesting or joking. So a little bit, it's got to be more than that because the Lord disrespect Israel for being disrespectful. King Elijah, we disrespected the gods of the other nations all the time to make people laugh at them. Elijah tempted the prophets of Baal and said, maybe your God is asleep. He's on a faraway journey. And then he poured water on the offering to make sure that they understood that the Most High was stronger than them and their gods, and burned up them, their offering, and the offering that he made that he poured water on. And the Lord burned it all up completely. So that's not it. King David, talking about the other nations that the Lord sent him to kill in Psalms the 83rd chapter. You understand? Make their nobles like Oreb and like Zeeb, all their princes as Zabah and as Zalmunna, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of Yahweh in possession. You understand? That prayer is calling upon all the dead of our enemies. You understand? Make jokes, things intended to be humorous. I think it says gaiety, merriment, frivolous mood or behavior. Let me see if I can get an older version. This is taking too long. We got a noun, we got a verb, synonyms. Let's see. Laughing stock. So here we have, I don't know, let me see if I can share this. Here we have laughing stock. This is probably what we're looking at here. To belittling a brother or sister, an object of ridicule, a laughing stock. You understand? This is under, goddamn, advertisements, is under jest. So we have a laughing stock. We got the synonyms is jest. And then to make a laughable man to scorn, which is a precept you can tie with that. The Lord says, don't do that. Let's see. And get that precept for you. Laugh no man to scorn in the bitterness of his soul. I believe that's in the Apocrypha. See if somebody can find that for me. Laugh no man to scorn in the bitterness of his soul. I'm pretty sure that's in the Apocrypha. Never mind. Ecclesiasticus, exactly. Chapter 7. Laugh no man to scorn. Supposed to laugh a man to scorn in the bitterness of his soul. That you're not supposed to do. That is jesting by definition. We know it's not telling a joke. We know it's not making fun of somebody because Christ spoke in riddles, in parables that many disciples did not understand, that we find funny all the time because they didn't understand it. You understand? Salakia, moving now. What you talking about? He wants to fight. Yeah, you're not supposed to do that. You're not allowed to do that. Laugh no man to scorn. You're not allowed to do that. The bitterness of his soul to provoke someone to anger. I'm not sure what you mean, sis. Like you're not supposed to do that. All right, so that's an example there. Go ahead and finish Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 4. Keep going.
Khan, which are not convenient.
Okay. I think I remember what this is about. So looking at the few verses up, just talking about behavior, trying to make sure that Israel does not behave like a heathen. The heathen do this. We are forced to be under the Greeks' culture. And being under the Greeks' culture, the oppressor likes to do and play these games. They like to play these games where they tease and make a laughing stock out of someone right up until the point where that person comes back and kills everybody in the school. That's very common. Esau does that. How many people have ever seen the movie Carrie? He said, I'm choppy. I look good here. What about now? How many people have ever seen the movie Carrie? Carrie, the little psychic white girl. You got the one from the 2000s, one from the 70s. I forget who did it. Who's ever seen Carrie? Seen that movie before? The water. One person has seen it. All right. The bar saw Carrie. Okay, there we go. Our Nas in there. Somebody said I'm Tawab. What's going on? Rawab now. Okay. What was that about? Did you see Carrie? That's what we're talking about. Who saw Carrie? Three of us. Raya didn't see Carrie. All right. Okay. All right. Rashad seen Carrie. NATAZACH seen Carrie. All right. A young Yagada. Okay, so everybody seen Carrie. All right. Psychic little white girl. They kept teasing the hell out of her. One day she get fed up. Her mama teasing her, making fun of her. She turn on her mama. She go to school, use her psychic powers, kill everybody up, burn the school down to the ground. Esau does that. They like to tease and make fun of people to the point where they are in the bitterness of their soul. Esau tease somebody till they commit suicide or kill everybody. Esau does that. That's their frat boy culture, their hazing culture. All of that is the Greco-Roman culture. All them Greek fraternities, the nasty, filthy things they do to make their brotherhoods. They spitting eggs in each other's mouths. They stripping and whipping each other and making the pledges walk around naked. And the same thing, whoever saw the Grammys or the Oscar, they got humiliation rituals where they had what's the big white boy wrestler's name? John Cena. He walking out on stage with no clothes on at the damn Grammys in front of the whole planet. You understand? It makes someone a laughing stock. The Lord is giving a list of behaviors that are unacceptable. So when you go to Ephesians, the 5th chapter, the 4th, 5 and the 4th verse, the Lord is running down a list trying to explain you cannot be like this here in this school. You can't be this. This is the oppressor's culture. You're going to be a child of God. These are the rules. You got to get rid of this. Walk in love means to keep the commandments. As Christ have loved us, Christ showed us how to serve the Most High, and he gave himself for us. That's how we should be towards each other. That is a sweet smelling sacrifice to the Most High, that we be down for each other the way that Christ was down for us, and we keep his commandments, which is walk in love, not hugs and kisses at church. Fornication. You have an unlawful sex, which is fornication. Sex with men, sex with animals if you're a man, sex with somebody else's woman, woman having sex with another woman, fornication, unlawful. Sex with dead bodies, all kind of madness. All uncleanness. They specify the uncleanness. Covetousness. You're trying to steal other people's stuff. You devising a way to steal what somebody else has. Let it not be once named among you. Nobody better do none of this. Neither filthiness. Don't be a dirty bastard doing things that's against the Lord, nor foolish talking. You understand? Don't talk about things that's against the Lord, that the Most High doesn't exist, nor jesting. Don't laugh no man to scorn. Make someone a laughing stock, which are not convenient, but rather give thanks. Now, this is another part about making someone a laughing stock. You see this a lot. Joning on each other. They used to call it joning. Someplace they call it doing the dozens and busting on each other. I don't know what they call it, but they used to say it was joning. You understand? And eventually, someone would joan until the purpose is to make everyone laugh at and ridicule someone. You're too big, you're too dark, you're too light, you're too fat, you're too slim, you're too short, you're too poor. How you talk, how you look, your voice, your accent is a terrible something that the Lord said that we are not supposed to do. We are not supposed to do that. You understand? All right. That's why I pulled that precept. And then he's going forward. These things are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks. Don't do that. You understand? You're gonna show your brother you hate him, and he's going to hate you. You're not supposed to make your brother or make your sister hate you. You're not supposed to provoke one another to jealousy. You're not supposed to provoke them to hate you, to wrath, to violence. You aren't supposed to, I'll give you some of these diss songs. You aren't supposed to provoke your brother to want to kill you. You're not supposed to do that. You understand? Hip hop teaches you to do that. Everybody dissing the dead, you smoking on your home. You're not supposed to do that. You're not allowed to do that. That's wrong. You understand? That's against the Lord. The Lord will hate you, and then you'll get gunned down in broad daylight in front of everybody, and the Lord will have an angel make sure that the ambulance does not get to FBG Duck while you're alive after getting shot 20 times so that you die on the street, because you are not allowed to tease someone to the point that they want to kill you because you're making fun of their dead cousin, their dead best friend. You're not allowed to do that. The Lord kills and he makes alive. You understand? And he won't give his glory to your shooters because he's put an evil spirit on a wicked man to murder, and you take the credit for it. That angers the Lord on top of everything else. You understand? So what else? What was I getting ready to look up? All right. Let's see. Just convenient. Let's get the definition of convenient. All right. That should be your question. I just want to get the definition of this word convenient to see if there's more in there. And then he goes on to verse 5. For this ye know, no whoremonger, someone that buys whores, which is someone buying a prostitute. You paying women, paying to have sex with somebody. That's a whoremonger. Monger means to buy something, Salakia. Monger means to sell something. A fishmonger sells fish. A whoremonger sells whores. This is a pimp. This is you selling your own tail on Backpage or wherever else, the Facebook Marketplace, wherever they selling tail at now for money. At the Pop the Balloon Challenge, you're there trying to get your balloon not to get popped so you can go sell some tail to whoever's in the lineup. You understand that no whoremonger, someone who sells whores, or a pimp, you understand, or a prostitute selling herself, you're a whoremonger, you sell hoes, nor an unclean person, you understand, nor a covetous man, a man that's trying to steal, that's got plans to steal other people's stuff, an unclean person. You listed all the things that are unclean. Who is an idolater, worships other gods. You understand? We went over that as well. Hath any inheritance in the kingdom of Christ and of the Most High. You understand? The Lord is against them. Don't join with them. Don't be like them. You understand? Because these are the people we've been taught to look up to. We've been taught to look up to Whoever can, joan or ridicule the poor person, they're the star. They get the attention. That's who becomes the star at school. But you're not supposed to be there. Nor a striker, nor a drunkard, nor a violent man, nor someone who worships another god. This culture has been accepted as black culture because of hip hop. Hip hop became black culture. Hip hop is run by white rich men that determine what they want black culture to be. That's why sisters look drastically different from the 90s than they do now in the 2020s, because hip hop has become the model for showing what a sister is supposed to look like. Hip hop has made the popular of what everybody's supposed to look like. You understand? All right. Okay. So what we got? Let's get the definition of convenient, suited to personal comfort, easy performance, suited for a situation, accommodation or advantage, being near, at hand, close. This is not suitable or proper. This is convenient here. So it's not suitable. The Lord is saying these things are not convenient. It is not suitable. It's not proper to be this way. You're not going to be able to be amongst us doing these things. You're going to get thrown out to school. You understand? All right. So now, all right, that should be it. Being a comedian is not unlawful, but being an evil bastard is unlawful. You're not supposed to make everyone hate or ridicule a brother. You understand? So that you can look big. That's improper, unacceptable. But having jokes, having a good time, that's not a sin. You understand? Okay, I thought it was another question after Quashad. Did Yagadar have a question in there? I called Sapar had a question, did he? Yagadar did Yagadar. Quashad did Quashad, right. I call Sapar has another question. Verse 56. So we got First Maccabees 3 and verse 56. So it's 55 through 59. Let's see what 56. Let's see 56. Mm-mm. Okay. Shemagabar, go ahead, read, you got First Maccabees 3 and 56, right?
Come.
Yeah, start at 55. Come, yeah.
Come. This is the book of, this is First Maccabees, chapter 3, verse 56. But as for such as were building houses.
Anybody that's building a house, Salakia. This is the important part. 52 is why this matters. Skip up to 52. Just read 52, and then we're going to come back down. Read 52.
Come.
Mm-hmm.
And lo, the heathen are assembled together against us to destroy us.
This is the point. These heathen, they gathered together. They posseed up. They clicked up. They deep. They ready to destroy us. Most High in Christ Hebrew passes officer's test. Damn right. All right. Officer Yahashia. All right. Congratulations, Hebrew. All right. All right. Damn right. The heathen are assembled together They ready to unalive us. Keep going, to destroy us. Go ahead.
Come. What things they imagine against us, thou knowest.
Whatever evil things they planning to do us, you know. You understand? They're praying to the Most High. You know what evil things they got planned. These heathen are diabolical. You understand? The heathen is eating people. You seen what they did on that west coast of Africa, that Liberian Civil War. They were eating people. They were eating the enemy. Eating his eyes, eating his lungs. You understand? Break him down like you get a cow, like you get a lamb from the lamb slaughter. They divide up and eat a person. You understand? That's what's going on. King Saul committed suicide to not be taken captive by them damn heathens, by them Hamites. He was scared to death of them Hamites. He did not want them to catch him captive. They do something terrible to you. You go over there to that Middle East fighting against them Arabs. You better not get captured by them Arabs. You seen what happened to Muammar Gaddafi. Muammar Gaddafi was the president of Libya for 40 years. They caught Muammar Gaddafi and shoved a bayonet up his behind in broad daylight. Then they beat him to death and killed him on live television. You understand? This is why King David went to war and killed about 10,000 of them every single day. You cannot let these people, you cannot be in their custom. You cannot join them. You can't mix with them. You don't know all the evil that we done picked up from these other nations of people. That's why the Lord said, stay away from them. Don't marry into them. It was for our safety and our protection so that we could remain strong. So now it's a war going on. The heathen is here. They coming to take life. They're not coming to negotiate. You understand? Now go to verse 55.
Come. And after this, Judas ordained captains over the people.
Yahweh, which is Judas in the English, Yahweh ordained captains over the people. Keep going.
Come. Even captains over thousands.
Captains of thousands. Just like we got in the UPK, the same way that it says in Deuteronomy, the first chapter, we've always had captains over thousands. All the fake Israelite groups, and they came out, they said, shouldn't be no captains, shouldn't be no officers. We should all be bishops and deacons and brothers and elders, and we all equal. Now, you go look at the fake Israelite groups. They calling themselves general. They calling themselves officer. They calling themselves captains because the UPK is calling generals and captains because that's what was in the Bible from the very beginning. What we've always had. And they, of course, they were wrong. We were right. So then they changed what they did wrong because they're supposed to be under Commanding General Yohana's authority. They don't know what the hell they're doing. They shouldn't be leading people, but they're too proud to stop. And their opportunity is running out. When America gets burned up, you understand? So will the beast and the false prophet also be burned up? You can roll the dice on your own and hope you don't get swept up in the lot. But we make it abundantly clear in the UPK for this very reason that you know if you are not in the ISUPK, you are not in the truth. The Lord is not with you. You do not serve the Most High. You don't serve Christ. You don't know the Bible. You're not authorized to teach. And whoever is following you is going to get hurt. And we've been making it clear for over a decade. So keep going.
Come. And over hundreds.
Captains over hundreds. That's why there's officers of 500, officers of 5,000, officers of 1,000. You understand? Captains over hundreds. Keep going.
And over 50s.
Over 50s, officers of 50. You understand? Young brother passed his officer's test. He's now an officer of 50. You understand? Keep going.
And over 10s.
And officers over 10s. All right. We had 10s there. All right. So now He assigning captains. Why is he assigning officers and captains? Because the heathen are round about us preparing to unalive everybody. And we're not going to sing and pray and hope and cut a deal when they surrounding over there lined up ready to kill us. We're not going to sing this away. You understand? Jesus not going to work it out. We're not going to pray for Jesus to work it out. They have choir rehearsal. You understand? That's not how this works. All right. So now he's giving instructions. We putting captains. I'm putting people in charge. We getting units together. We preparing soldiers. We sounding the trumpets, crying with a loud voice. Listen, it's time. Everybody get ready. They here. You understand? Verse 56.
Okay. But as for such as were building houses,
You understand? But as for those that were building houses, if you building a house, you're working on a house, it means your house ain't done. You're trying to get your house straight. You're building houses. You're in the middle of doing construction to build your house. Keep going.
okay, or have betrothed wives,
You engaged to a wife. You're engaged to a wife. You all are going to get married. You betrothed her. She's promised to be your wife. You have not married yet. You have not had any children. Why does this matter? Because you're getting ready to go forth to battle, to war where you can die. And if you die without any children, your lineage is over. One of your male relatives is going to have to bring you back. And in our land and our customs, you would not put a man with no heir to go off forward to battle because he won't have a way back to get his inheritance. He'll have to be a part of somebody else's inheritance because the land belongs to you and to thy seed after thee forevermore. You understand? Even though the heathen are here to destroy us in this battle, we still have rules. We're not drafting and sending everybody off to battle. You understand? Who's scared and not ready to battle, and they don't know what's going on, and their rib is pregnant, and they trying to build a house somewhere. They focused on everything else. You don't just put a sword in their hand and send them off to battle. That's what heathen did. You understand? Keep going.
okay, or were planting vineyards,
They were planting vineyards. They planted groves of grapes and strawberries and rows of trees. They're working in the field. They planting vineyards. They preparing to get their wine and stuff going in their breweries. They ain't thinking about going forth to war and battle. Keep going.
okay, or were fearful,
They're afraid. They're not preparing to go to war and battle. You bake bread. You don't want the man who bakes bread out on the field with a sword. You don't send him out to battle. He's scared. He doesn't belong there. He's not supposed to be there. You don't force him to go be a war man just out the blue. That's not who he is. He shouldn't be there. And you don't force him to do that. Keep going.
okay, those he commanded that they should return.
He gave an order that y'all go home. All of y'all go home. Now, go ahead. No, you go home. You go home. What you doing now? Me and my dad, you go home and finish the house with your dad. Y'all go home. Go home. What you said? You engaged? Y'all get married soon? Y'all go home. You go home. Who else? Who else here is engaged? Is about to get married? 5 years? All right, all of y'all go home. Everybody get out of here. Get out of here. What you doing here? You scared? All right, don't worry about it, brother. Don't sweat it. Go ahead home. Go ahead home. You ain't supposed to be here. Let Ricky out the car. Not Ricky. Who was Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character in Boys of the Hood? It wasn't Ricky. Ricky got killed. Who was Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character? What was his name? Come on, y'all. Y'all supposed to be black now. What is Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character? The water. The water. Is there one black among ye? Trey. The water, Yabakar. All right, NATAZACH is black too. All right. Okay. So lock it. All right, y'all black. Y'all black. All right. All right. I was getting a little frustrated. You understand? All right. Both side Christ. Both side Christ. You gotta pull over and let Trey out the car, man. Trey don't belong here. Trey riding around with his 357 with 3 bullets in there. Trey. Main man in the back got an AK-47. Trey, get out the car. Let him out. Let me out the car, though. You don't belong in here, man. Go on home, man. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of this. You go on home, man. Go on home, Trey. It's all right. It's all right. Get in that house and swing at the head. It's all right, Trey. It's all right, man. Doughboy gonna handle it. It's all right. You understand? So that's it. Send them home. They don't need to be out there with this warfare. It's not magic. All right. And that's what it was. Keep going.
Or were fearful. Wait, Salaki.
They were scared.
Salaki. I already read that, Salaki.
Keep going.
Every man to his own house.
He commanded them to go home. Every man go back home. Keep going.
According to the law.
The law. There's a law in the Bible that you don't take a man from his new marriage and send him off on the battlefield to die. Esau and his military will take you away from your newborn. We'll take the mother and we'll take the father and send them both to Afghanistan to get their arms and legs blown off. I seen it. And then come back to Walter Reed Army Medical Center that used to be right in Washington, D.C., with a newborn 6-month-old and some 21-year-old sister with a newborn who gave her mother her 2-month-old baby because the United States Army sent her to Afghanistan and she come home with no arms and a goddamn newborn. Happened all the time in the war in Afghanistan. And guess what? 20 years after the war in Afghanistan, America brought over illegal Afghans and dropped them right at Fort Bragg in North Carolina. Where are the illegal Afghans that climbed on the top of a C-130 cargo plane as the United States Army left out of Afghanistan after being defeated by ISIS? Where are they? They live right in America. You never saw them on TV with ICE talking about illegal Afghans. They were raping little boys. They were snatching up females on base. They were getting arrested immediately. Soon as they got here, all kind of rape charges immediately. Soon as they got out the desert. You don't hear nothing about the illegal Afghans in America, how much taxpayers is paying for Afghans. The same for the Ukrainians. Billions of dollars to Ukraine every few months. Allegedly going to Ukraine, which Elon Musk and Doge is finding out that money didn't all go to Ukraine. All that money they saying they giving to the migrants, and the migrants bankrupting the city. Well, Elon Musk and the Doge is finding out that that money they was pretending that the migrants was getting, the migrants was not getting that money. Isupk and Asher and Levi was not spending all the money in your city. It was going into people's pockets. That's why they all resigning in New York. That's why they all getting fired all across the country, because they were stealing and they use you as the scapegoat to say it's your fault that nobody else has any money. That's why you don't join the other nation of people, because when they hate your brother, you have to join them in hating your brother because you made a covenant with them. You understand? So this is what the Lord said. It's a law in the Bible. You don't, first of all, you don't send no woman off to war at all. You don't send a man off to war that just got married. You don't send him off to war. You don't send no scared man off the battle that mess around and friendly fire and shoot his own buddies in the back in the battlefield, like Pat Tillman in the NFL. They shot him up and say that the enemy did it when all the bullets was in his back, in the back of his head. You understand? Like, you don't do that. We got laws about everything. Laws about war, laws about peace, laws about farming, agriculture, marriage, sex, raising your kids, accidents, laws about everything. You understand? Everybody's supposed to go back home because a war is about to break out. That's what it's talking about here. All right. That's what it's talking about. All right. So that's the end on that. I think that was the end of his question. Was that the end of your question? Ecclesiasticus. I think your question went to 59. It's so far up. Let's see. 55 through 59. This question was 56. Keep going down. All right. Give me 57, 58, and 59.
Come. So the camp
Wait.
removed.
The camp had to pack up and move. Had to move somewhere else because the heathen was ready. They had to pack up and move. Keep going.
And pitched upon the south side of Damascus.
Right? The camp had to move and set up somewhere else. Keep going. 58.
And Judas said,
Uh-huh.
arm yourselves.
Say, everybody get your sword. Arm yourself. Load up. Keep going.
And be valiant men. Be Salaki. Be valiant
Be
men.
valiant men. Be brave men. There you go. Be brave men. Arm yourselves and be brave men. Keep going.
And see that ye be in readiness against the morning.
Ye, meaning you, old Quaker English. See that ye be in readiness against the morning. Be ready in the morning. Arm yourselves. Get your swords, get your dagger, get your shield, get your armor, get your spikes. Arm yourselves and be ready in the morning. Keep going.
Salaki. That ye may fight with these nations.
That ye may fight with these other nations of people. Keep going.
Salaki. That are assembled together against us to destroy us and our sanctuary.
They were gathered together to destroy us and the house of the Lord, because we are the people that are connected to the Most High, and they know it. And they know that if they don't destroy the house of the Lord and sever our connection to the Most High, that they cannot rule over us. They know that. That's why whenever they got us, they passed a law that we could not keep our customs. That's why we became Greeks or Hellenists, Greek-speaking Jews. That's why we became Christians and Democrats and Muslims and Moors and Afro-Americans and all of these other things, further and further away from an actual identity that the Lord gave us. Give me verse 59.
Come. For it is better for us to die in battle.
That is better for us to die in battle. Keep going.
Than to behold the calamities, the
Calamities.
the calamities of our people and our sanctuary.
Then for us to see all the struggle and terrible things that's befallen our people and our sanctuary, the temple of the Most High. We should never see this. It's better for us to die in battle than see what they're going to do with our people and this sanctuary. Keep going.
Verse 60. Nevertheless,
don't sweat it. Keep going.
As the will of God is in heaven,
as the will of the Most High power, of the power that is in heaven. Keep going.
So let him do.
Let him do what is his will. You understand? And his own. He might rush upon the camp of the Jews and catch them lacking. The men of the fortress were his guys. Judas heard himself and the valiant men that was with him. He might go to the king's army. Georges tried to run up in the camp of Judas. He found no man there. He went into the mountains, said that they ran from us, and Judas sold himself with 3,000 men who had no armor, no swords to their mind. They saw the camp of the heathen, that it was strong and well harnessed, and compassed round about with horsemen, and these were expert of war. Judas said to the men that were with him, fear ye not their multitude, neither be afraid of their assault. Remember how our fathers were delivered in the Red Sea when Pharaoh pursued them with an army. Now therefore let us cry unto heaven, if peradventure the Most High will have mercy upon us, and remember the covenant of our fathers, and destroy this host from before our face this day. That so all the heathen may know that there is one who delivereth and saveth Israel. The strangers lifted up their eyes and saw them coming against them, wherefore they went out of the camp to battle, but they that were with Judas sounded their trumpets, so that they joined the battle, and the heathen, being discomfited, fled in the plain. It says they were slain by the sword, pursued them into the mountains of Idumea. They were slain upon 3,000 men. This done, Judas returned again with his host from pursuing them, and said, be not greedy of much spoil, and is that there's battle before us. They ran back up in the mountains, stand against our enemies. You understand, this is the next chapter. I'm just speeding through it as we up over the time. We're going to end shortly. The Jews had put their host to flight and were burning their tents, for the smoke that was seen declared what was done. They ran up in there, burned, set all their stuff on fire, took their stuff. Everybody fled back into their house. They said, Judas in the field, like, see me outside. You understand? Said, we outside, man. Y'all came to fight. We out here. I see y'all up there. Y'all up in the mountains. We outside, though. You understand? Where y'all at? So that did not go well for the heathen. You understand? They got smashed. Salakia, would it also be safe to say a man, should it be caught up with his wife's business, things of the world when it comes to warring? Caught up, okay, Salakia. Caught up with the things of the world. It'd be safe to say a man should. You might need to retype it one more time. I think I might be missing what your question is. Says, would it also be safe to say a man should not, probably should not be caught up with his wife, business, things of the world, his wife and things of the world when it comes to war? No, you should be separate from your wife. You should be separate from your wives. Same way as you go to council, same way you go to camp, you're going out to war, out to battle, you should not be with your wife. You shouldn't be near your wife. You're unclean with your wife. You should not be near her when it's time to go to battle. That's why he said, whoever is engaged, we get ready to go forth to battle. You sitting there thinking about your woman, you understand, you need to go on back. That's why I said when you go to camp, you got to clear your mind. Camp is called battle. You pitching forth, setting up a barricade in battle. That's why we covered in spikes and armor and sword and crowns with armor and metal on our head and our shoulders, preparing for battle. That's what camp is. You understand? It's a battleground. We battling spiritually, but we set up camp to battle physically as well. In the ancient times, and when Christ returns, we're gonna do the same thing again. You understand? But that's what's going on. But yeah, that's what it is, and that's what's happened. They thought they were gonna sneak up on us, but Judas had already moved. Yahweh had already moved, which is Judas in the Greek translation. Yahweh is Judah. You understand? It's the same word as Judah, same word as Judas in our language is Yahweh. All right. So that's it there. Correct. You should not be caught up with the things of this world. When it's time to go forth to camp, it's time to go forth to battle. That's where your mind is. You understand? That's where you got to be focused. Anything can happen. You go forth to battle. Who knows what can happen out there? That's why we send up prayers before we go forth to battle, the same way that these brothers did here. Going out before a multitude, there's always more enemies of us. It's always been that way. You understand? The Lord always loved the underdog. And then he said he sent his squad through there and smash everybody up. And the Lord get the glory because it's 10 times as many of them as it is of us. And they, of course, end up running and we get all their stuff and burn up their tents. Everybody know who won. We go to Egypt. Egypt is powerful. We leave with everything. The Egyptians do mass funerals. Everybody know who won. The Lord deliver us up out of America and out of all these lands where we scattered, and then there is no more America. It's all sand and dust. And whoever's hidden in their doomsday bunkers and those preppers, everybody gonna know who won. You understand? Just like they know when they talk about illegal migrants, they're not talking about the Africans, the Asians, the Arabs, the East Indians. They only talking about our tribes. That's their code word, like the bad element in the neighborhood. The gangs, the cartels, the welfare queens, the baby mamas, the ruffians, the hoodlums, those thugs, they code words that they talk about us, the migrants, the day laborers, the Indians. The scripture said we would be a proverb and a byword amongst all the nations where we have been driven. You understand? So that's what it's talking about. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and end it there. All right, Most High in Christ. So we are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. We start out of 1 West 125th Street in Harlem, New York. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. You're not in the UPK. You are not in the truth. Rule for a new brother and sister. When a brother and sister comes into the school, they're off limits for 6 months. It'll be saluted only. It'll get counsel from the head to speak to a brother or sister. After this 6-month period, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, they may get permission from the head to speak to a brother and sister. After the 6-month period, a brother and sister will get permission to court. Then brother and sister get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment from the Most High. 10% of any penny of any increase the Most High gives to you. Go right to isupk.com. Make sure you pay your tithes. 10% of what you get belongs to you. 90% belongs to you. 10% belongs to the Most High. Do not take or spend the Lord's portion. You spend the Lord's 10%, then you owe him an additional 5% of that tithe with his 10% that you spent. That is not your money to spend. If you redeem any part of it, then you have to pay him a 5% on top of the 10% that already belonged to him. Upcoming holy convocations, we have the Feast of Purim, which is coming up in March. Remember what our sister Esther did to deliver us from captivity, from destruction underneath of another heathen, like we've had to do many times. And we have the Passover, the Lord's 56th annual Passover in Atlanta, Georgia. You understand? Full week of events. Got the lamb slaughter, the all-black party, General Muhammad scripture breakdown class. You understand? The Hebrew Academy graduation also featured during that week. The lamb slaughter, the children's party, full week of events leading up to the Lord's 56th annual Passover, which would be that Saturday. And then the Feast of Unleavened Bread begins that Sunday. You understand? The Feast of Unleavened Bread. All right. So with that, lastly, if any brother wants to become a trooper in the school, it'll be in all black. Black boots, shirt, pants, headband, war scarf. If you are anticipating or trying to be a trooper in the school, and when you sign in for attendance, you need to put young man. You understand? And you need to contact the school in whatever city or state that you are in, same way everyone else had to do. Make sure you follow the steps laid out before you. If you don't, it says something. All right. And with that, if you are a sister, you cannot be a trooper. You also need to contact the school so that you can officially get what you need and be instructed how to become a sister in the ISUPK. And with that, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the brothers, men of Israel, Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Barakathum. To the sisters, Yahweh Shemar Al-Athan, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. With that, tune in right here, Lashawan Kwadash, the Hebrew language class taught by Officer NATAZACH and Officer Yagadar, getting it on, learning to read, write, and speak the ancient Hebrew, which every Israelite should do, right here on this channel. With that, shalom. Water for y'all tuning in. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the thumbs up, and
hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please go to isupk.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
They're one West. They're one West. They're one West.
Welcome to Atlanta. Christ, this Officer 5000, Jeremiah, the camp leader of Atlanta. Passover 2025, starting April the 9th, we got the lamb slaughter. April the 10th, we got General Muhammad's flag. April the 11th, we got the black party that's going to have the Hebrew graduation. April the 12th, in Atlanta, Georgia, the 56th annual Passover, the only Passover under Commander Junior Hunter.
Our great and holy King has honored us for turning our lives from the darkness to the light, man. There's no greater gift you can receive than to wake up to the truth and then commit your life to saving your brothers, man. Looking in their eyes and seeing their faces and seeing what they've suffered and what they've gone through and seeing the end of it, man. It is a guaranteed seat in the kingdom of heaven, man. So in the name of our King Yahweh Shai, we dedicate us another Passover of brothers and sisters' lives being saved.
April the 13th, we got the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Shalom.
Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please go to isupk.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.